The sky was red. Not because of sunset, but because the air was filled with dust and fire. In the middle of the market square, a young alien girl sat on the cold metal ground. Her name was Zira. Her body was thin like bones. Her skin was dry and cracked. Her clothes were torn pieces of cloth. She had not eaten for 3 days. She reached out her hand to a passing trader. "Please," she whispered. "Just one crumb." The trader didn't stop. He didn't look. He walked past as if she didn't exist. Zira looked down. Her stomach made a small noise, but no one heard. No one cared. This was the planet Carnes 5, a trading post ruled by the Varn Empire. The Varn were tall, cruel, and rich. They believed some species were too weak to matter. Zira's people were one of them, slaves, beggars, forgotten things. Around her, the market was full of noise and light. Machines hummed. Traders argued, metal ships landed and left. But Zira sat still like a shadow nobody saw. Then a voice. "Is she for sale?" The voice was calm, clear, not angry, not loud, just different. Everyone turned. A tall man in a dark coat stood at the edge of the square. His eyes were deep gray, like storm clouds. His skin was human, a human. Here, humans had not come to Carnes 5 in years. The Varn didn't trust them. They called them dangerous dreamers. The Varn guard stepped forward. He laughed. "You want the beggar girl? She's worth nothing. Not even a crust of bread." The man looked at Zira, still sitting on the ground. "She's worth more than you think," he said. He opened a small case. Inside was a piece of tech, shiny, advanced, human-made. The guard's eyes widened. "You trade that? For her?" "Yes." The guard shrugged. "Fine, take her. Just don't cry when she dies tomorrow." Zira looked up, confused, scared. Was this a new owner? A new slaver? The human bent down, offered his hand. "My name is Elias," he said. "You're safe now." Zira didn't move. She was too tired, too weak, too broken to trust anyone. Inside the ship, the air was clean, soft lights, warm floors. Zira had never seen anything like it. Elias led her to a small room. There was a bed, a blanket, a tray of food. Zira stared at it. Bread, water, soup, real food, not scraps. Not poisoned. She looked at Elias. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," he said. She didn't believe him. She backed into a corner, hugging her knees. Elias sighed. "The food is yours. The bed too, you can rest." He walked away, leaving her alone. Zira stayed in the corner all night. She didn't eat. Didn't sleep. In the morning, the food was cold, but still there. She took a small bite, then another, and then she cried. Not because she was full, but because she had forgotten what real food tasted like. Later, Elias sat at the control panel. His ship moved quietly through space. The rest of the crew whispered, "Why her? Why trade for a nobody?" Elias didn't answer, but his eyes stayed on the screen showing her room. There was something strange about her. Not just sadness, something hidden, something important. In her sleep, Zira mumbled strange words in an old language. She spoke of stars, machines, war, things she couldn't possibly know. Elias listened. He had a feeling. She wasn't just a starving girl. She was a key to something much bigger. And others would come looking for her soon. Very soon. The stars outside the window moved slowly, like old memories drifting across time. Zira sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands. They were shaking. She still didn't understand. Why was she here? Why did the human man trade something valuable, just for her? What did he want? In her old world, no one gave anything for free. Not even a kind word. In the ship's main deck, Elias stood alone. The control lights blinked quietly, casting a soft blue glow on his face. He wasn't smiling. Behind him, a door opened. Myra, the ship's medic, stepped in. "You took her," Myra said, crossing her arms. "A beggar, a half-dead girl. Why?" Elias didn't turn, because everyone else saw her as nothing. And that makes her important. Myra narrowed her eyes. "We don't run a rescue ship. We run cargo, quiet jobs. You've put us in danger." "She's more than she looks." "Prove it." Elias didn't answer. Instead, he played a recording. It was from the ship's security feed. Zero was talking in her sleep again, but this time the words were not hers. She spoke in an old dialect, pre-Empire Varnian, a dead language. She said, "The seal is broken. The key awakens, the heart of fire will burn again." Myra's face went pale. "That's impossible." "No," Elias said, "it's just forgotten." Back in her room, Zira finally stood up. She walked slowly to the mirror. She didn't recognize the girl in the reflection. This one looked clean, soft, alive. She hated that the girl in the mirror was a lie. She touched the mirror and whispered, "Why did he save me?" The door opened. Elias stood there holding something wrapped in cloth. "It's not a weapon," he said gently. "I thought you might want it." He opened the cloth. Inside was a small, broken memory pendant, old tech. Rusted. Zira's eyes widened. She grabbed it and held it close. "Where did you find this?" "Traders on Carnies 5, he replied. "Said it came from a destroyed refugee camp. I thought it might belong to you." Zira nodded. Her voice cracked. "It was my mother's." Elias sat down near the door, not too close. "I don't need to know your story unless you want to tell it." Zira didn't speak for a long time. Then she said, "They came at night. The Varn. They took everyone. Burned the homes, my mother. She hid me in a water tank." Elias didn't move. "When I climbed out," she continued, "everything was gone." Silence filled the room. Zira looked up. "Why did you save me?" Elias replied simply, "Because someone should have." Hours later, as the ship floated near a fuel station, an encrypted message came in. Elias read it. His face darkened. Unit 9 Varn command requests immediate handover of the stolen biological. Stolen? He looked at the message again. They weren't asking for a girl. They were asking for a code, a living container. A lock, and Zira was the key. Elias walked quickly to the engine room. He didn't tell the crew yet. He had to think, was it possible that this girl didn't even know what she carried inside her? Meanwhile, Zira sat alone in her room. She opened the back of the pendant. Inside was something she had never noticed before. A small crystal chip. She touched it. Her head suddenly filled with flashes of light. A map, a city, a machine. A voice. "If you find the human, open the gate." She screamed and fell to the floor. Elias ran in. Zira was shaking. "There's something in me," she whispered. "I don't know what it is, but it's waking up." Elias nodded slowly. "And that's why the Empire wants you back." Outside the ship, in the darkness beyond the stars, a small drone floated silently. It was watching, and it had already sent a signal back to the Varn. The hunt had begun. The stars outside the ship didn't shine the same anymore. Zira sat in silence, her eyes wide open, her breath shaking. Something inside her had changed, not her feelings. Not her body. Something deeper. It started with a dream. No. Not a dream, a memory. But it wasn't hers. In the dream, she stood on a battlefield. The sky was black. Fires burned across broken cities. Strange machines walked through smoke. Ships fell like stars from the sky. Voices screamed in a language she didn't know, and somehow still understood. She saw humans fighting, dying, winning. And in the center of it all, a girl who looked just like her, but older, stronger, glowing with light. Then Zira woke up, gasping. Her hands were glowing faint blue. Just for a second, then it faded. Elias found her on the floor, sweating, eyes wild. "I saw a war," she said, "but it wasn't a dream. It was real. I was there, but not me, another me, long ago." Elias knelt beside her. "You're remembering something that isn't yours." "Not fully. Then whose memory is it?" Elias took a breath. "It might be in your blood." Zira looked confused. "What?" He stood, walked to the scanner panel. "We've scanned thousands of species," he said, "but yours, the DNA is different. There are locks inside it? Codes, living data, like a biocomputer." Zira touched her chest. "So, I'm a machine?" "No," Elias said gently. "You're a message." Later, Elias called a secret meeting with Myra, the medic, and Khan, the pilot. "She's carrying something," Elias said. "I don't know what, but it's old, hidden in her genes, like a virus." Khan asked, No, Elias said, like a story. Waiting for the right reader. Myra looked nervous. This kind of tech was banned centuries ago. The Varn burned every species with memory DNA. But they missed her, Elias said. And now they want her back. Meanwhile, Zira stood in front of the ship's mirror again. She looked deeper. This time, not at her face, but her eyes, and deep in her eyes. She saw a flash, a face, a memory, a human general. Standing tall on a burning moon, he looked straight at her and said, "When the stars forget, you must remember." She gasped and stepped back. Why was she seeing these things? Who was that general? Why did he look like Elias? The ship shook. A sudden alarm rang out. Elias rushed to the control panel. A drone was following them, Varn tech, but something was strange. The drone wasn't attacking. It was scanning. It wanted confirmation. Confirmation that the package was still alive. Ci or Elias. Ordered to jump to deep space. They escaped, but just barely. In the silence after the jump, Elias sat alone. He pulled out an old file from his private storage, a human archive. He typed one name. Zirana Protocol. The screen flashed. Classified. Level Omega. He entered his access code. A video appeared. A scientist stood beside a tank. Inside, a child growing in artificial light. The same face as Zira. Voiceover. This is the last carrier. Her mind will hold the memory of Earth's fall. Her blood will awaken when humanity forgets who it truly is. Elias stared at the screen, whispering, "It was always you." Later that night, Zira walked to the deck. Elias stood there. Looking out into space, "I remembered more," she said quietly. "Tell me, there was a machine, a gate. It opened when a human touched it. And, I was there with him." "With who?" Zira looked up at Elias. Elias didn't react. But something flickered in his eyes. Zira stepped closer. "How long have you been looking for me?" "A long time," he said. "But I didn't know it was you until now?" "Why me?" Elias looked at her, serious now. "Because your blood carries the truth they tried to erase. And the Varn, they are terrified of that truth." In the darkness of deep space, a larger Varn warship received a message from the drone. A voice growled, "She is active. The human has awakened her." "Then we destroy them both." Space was quiet. Too quiet. The ship floated through a dark zone, far from any planet. Hidden behind a dead star, Zira sat near a window, hugging her knees. She didn't speak. She barely moved. Her dreams were louder now. Stronger. Like a voice calling her from inside her own blood. She saw images every time she closed her eyes. Battles. Machines, stars dying, and that gate again. Always the gate. And the human who opened it. Elias sat in the cockpit. Scanning the void. His fingers tapped the console, slow but steady. "Still no signal?" Myra asked from behind him. "Too quiet," Elias said. "Which means they're already here." Then it happened, just a flicker on the screen, a shadow moving across the star map. Too big to be debris, too smooth to be natural. Elias zoomed in. Varn ship, war class. Fully armed, cloaked, Khan's voice cracked over the comms. "It's them." "They found us." Elias didn't blink. "Power up the engines." "No fight, we run." Zira felt it too. Her heart started racing for no reason. She ran to the deck. "They're here, aren't they?" Elias nodded once. "You felt it?" Zira looked out into the dark. "I don't know how, but yes." The ship shook. A pulse wave fired across space. "EMP hit," Myra shouted. "Shields holding, but barely." "They're not trying to kill us," Elias said. "They want her alive." He turned to Zira. "We go dark now. I need your help." Zira's hands shook. "Me? What can I do?" "You said you saw an old gate, a machine in your dreams. Can you see anything now?" She closed her eyes, trembling. Seconds passed. Then she opened them. Her voice was flat, strange. "There's a nebula. Left of the dark moon, there's an old tunnel there, a back door, human-made." "Long ago," Elias stared. "That tunnel's been closed for a century." "Not to me," she whispered. They turned the ship sharply, heading straight toward the nebula. The Varn ship followed like a silent shadow. One wrong move, and they'd be swallowed whole. Inside the nebula, space turned purple-blue. Lightning danced between dust clouds. Sensors went blind. Khan cursed. We're flying half-blind. Zira stood beside Elias. Trust me, go down 30 degrees, then left. He followed her words. Suddenly a light appeared in the fog, a ring. An ancient jump gate, half broken, but still alive. Jump engine charging, Elias said. We only get one shot. The Varn ship fired a warning blast. A piece of the ship's tail sparked. Fire. Alarms. Zira placed her hand on the console. The gate reacted. Lights lit up in patterns. Symbols appeared. Old Earth tech. There started to glow, not bright. Just enough. The gate opened. A tear in space, a path to somewhere unknown. Elias didn't ask. He hit the jump. Boom. The ship vanished. So did the gate. The Varn ship was too late. It waited in the fog, then turned away. For now, silence again. Then stars appeared, a quiet system, a dying sun. Peace for a moment, but Zira collapsed. In the medbay, Myra checked her. She's stable, Myra said. But something changed. Her cells, they're rearranging, like she's unlocking a second layer. Elias sat beside Zira, watching her sleep. He took her hand. His voice was low. I once had a sister, he said. Smart, brave. She tried to protect a colony from the Varn. They used her to send a message. He looked at Zira's face. She had your eyes, and she died alone. I couldn't save her. He looked away, eyes burning. But I won't fail again. Zira's mind was far away, floating between memory and machine. She saw the gate again. But this time it spoke. You are the spark. He is the fire. Together you are the weapon. Suddenly her eyes opened, glowing blue. She sat up. Elias froze. You okay? He asked. She nodded once and then said something he didn't expect. They're not chasing us anymore. Why? Zira stared out the window. Because they know where we're going. Asterisk, the sun was dying. Not in centuries. Not in years. It was dying now, burning low above a dusty planet, its last light weak and red. Like the final breath of a fire, the ship touched down on the edge of a desert. Winds howled. Sand moved like waves. Zira stepped out first. The ground felt strange beneath her feet, like it remembered pain. This was Velmora. A planet erased from every map. Forgotten by the Varn. Erased by design, but Zira had seen it in her. Dreams, the same towers broken and half buried in sand. And a voice that whispered, when the world forgets, come home. They walked in silence. Elias, Zira, Myra, and Khan, their crew, now survivors. Zira led them with no map, no scanner. Only memory. And memory did not lie. Hours passed. Then they saw it, a black stone door, tall and cold, rising from the desert like a tombstone. Symbols carved deep into it, old earth glyphs mixed with alien script. Zira touched it. The door opened. No sound, no lights. Just darkness behind it. She stepped in first. Inside. It was colder than space. The hallway was long and curved, like they were inside the spine of something ancient. Walls lit up as they passed, reacting to Zira's presence. Myra whispered, this place, it's alive. Zira didn't speak. She already knew. They reached a large chamber. At its center stood a glowing table. And above it, a massive dome with thousands of small dots. Stars. The room showed the galaxy as it once was, before the wars. Before the silence, Zira stepped forward. Her hand hovered over the table. It lit up. A voice filled the chamber. Welcome, carrier. Welcome, human. Elias stepped back, shocked. The voice continued. You have arrived at the heart-archived final memory of the First War. A hologram appeared, not a person, but a shape, a tree made of stars. It spoke again. Long ago, your kind stood at the center of the storm. The Varn feared what humans could become. When joined with memory, Myra gasped. So they erased it all? Not just planets, but truth. Zira's voice was quiet. And they left my people alive, because we were the vaults. The hologram changed. A vision of Zira's ancestors appeared, thin, bright-eyed beings, handing a glowing seed to a human warrior. This seed will live in blood, when the time is right. It will grow. Zira looked down at her hands. She was the seed. Suddenly, another panel opened beside the table. Inside, a weapon, but not one of metal. It was a small, clear orb glowing with light and spinning symbols. What is it? Khan asked. Zero reached for it. I think it's a choice. Elias stepped closer. What does it do? Zero looked at him. If a human and a carrier activate it together, it turns memory into energy, pure force, enough to destroy a fleet or restart a dead world. As she held it, the chamber shook. An alarm began to ring. Myra shouted, "Something triggered a signal." Elias turned pale. "They know we're here." Zira's eyes narrowed. "No," she said. "They wanted us to find this." A hidden screen lit up. A Varn face appeared, pale, cruel, and smiling. "You opened the last gate," he said. "Good. Now you've confirmed its location." Zira stared in silence. "You are not special," the Varn sneered. "You are a container." "That's all?" Then he looked at Elias. "But you are the real threat, the human heart. That's what we fear." The screen went black. Elias stepped back. "They were watching us the whole time." Zira looked at the glowing orb in her hand. "A weapon, a gift, or a trap?" Then she said, "We take it. We finish what they started." As they ran back to the ship, storms began to rise behind them. Above, the sky cracked open. A Varn fleet had arrived. Zira looked at Elias as they climbed aboard. "Next time," she said, "we don't run." Elias nodded. "We fight." The ship was quiet, not peaceful, just too quiet. Zira stared out the window, the glowing orb still in her hand. The weapon from the archive. The last gift of the lost, but it didn't feel like a gift anymore. It felt heavy, like something waiting to break. In the control room, Elias watched the stars pass by. His eyes were open, but his mind wasn't there. He kept thinking about the Varn's message. You are the real threat. The human heart. Why would an empire fear a feeling? Down. In the engine bay, someone moved in the dark. Konn. His hands shook as he connected a data cable to the emergency beacon. He wasn't smiling. His face looked cold, almost empty. He whispered, "I'm sorry." Then he sent the signal. On the upper deck, Zira suddenly stood. She felt it, something wrong in the air, like static, like a scream buried under silence. She walked to Elias. "They're coming," she said. Elias turned. "You saw it?" "No," she said. "I felt it." A light blinked red on the panel. Elias opened the alert. His eyes darkened. Location leaked. Tracking signal active. Source, internal. Someone betrayed us, he said. Zira didn't ask who. Her voice was hollow. "They want the orb." "No," Elias said. "They want you." Sirens wailed. The ship shook. "Boarders," Mayra shouted over comms. "Varn transport just jumped into our tail." Elias ran to the weapons panel, but it was locked. Khan's voice came through. "I shut the guns down." Everyone froze. Elias activated the ship's comm. "Khan? Why?" Khan didn't reply right away. "Then, because you don't understand. What she is, she's not a girl. She's a trigger, a living key. You think you're saving her, but you're risking every human colony left." Elias' voice dropped. "You worked for them all along?" Khan replied almost sadly, "No, I'm working for survival." The line went dead. Varn soldiers broke through the rear hatch. Silent, armored. Zir stood between them and the orb. Elias raised a gun, but Zira stopped him. "No," she said. "They want me. Let them have me." Elias froze. "No, I won't let you." "I'm not giving up," Zira whispered. "I'm going in." Elias stared, and then he understood. She walked into their arms without fear. The orb was gone from her hand. Hidden. With Elias, aboard the Varn command ship. Zira was chained, but not harmed. She sat in a silver chair, surrounded by high walls and no windows. A tall Varn commander stepped into the light. His face was sharp. His voice was like stone. "You carry the last truth," he said, "and truth is dangerous." Zira looked at him calmly. "Then why haven't you killed me?" "Because truth only matters when someone listens," he said. "And right now, we're listening." A screen lit up behind him. It showed an old image. Earth, burning. Not from the Varn, from itself. Human hands, human weapons. Human pride. "You think you are hope," the commander said. "But you are a warning." Zira didn't flinch. "We didn't destroy Earth," he continued. "You did. We just kept you from doing it again." Zira raised her head. "You don't fear what I am," she said. You fear what he is, the Varn narrowed his eyes. Elias, a man, a soldier, a heart? That's what scares you, Zira said softly. Because love remembers. And memory leads to freedom. Back on the ship, Elias sat alone with the orb. Myra entered. She's gone, Myra said. We lost her. Elias looked at the orb. No, he whispered. We haven't. He stood. We're getting her back. And far away inside a cold room on the Varn flagship, Zira closed her eyes. She began to hum something, a soft, old song. From before the wars. From before the forgetting, and the walls around her began to change. Asterisk, the Varn ship moved like a ghost through space. Silent, cold, unstoppable, and inside it, deep in the prison deck, Zira sat cross-legged, eyes closed, humming a melody too old for words. The metal around her began to pulse, not with sound, but with memory. Walls flickered, lights dimmed. Something ancient was waking up, and she was the trigger, far away. On the stolen human ship, Elias held the glowing orb in both hands. His crew was gone, scattered or hiding. Only Myra remained, injured but alive. You still want to go after her? Myra asked, her voice low. Elias didn't answer with words. He locked the orb into the ship's core. The engine flared to life. Not blue, but white, pure, ancient. On the Varn flagship, alarms began to scream. One of the generals stormed into the chamber where Zira sat. What are you doing? He shouted. Zira opened her eyes. They glowed silver now. I'm remembering, she said. Stop it, he yelled. You were built to carry memory, not release it. She stood slowly. No, I was born to share it. The orb in Elias's ship began to spin faster. Symbols lit across the walls, forming the same tree of stars Zira had seen in the archive. He whispered to himself, If you hear me, Zira, meet me at the gate. Then he launched. Inside the Varn command ship, cracks formed in the walls, not from weapons. From truth. Every Varn on board heard voices, not Zira's, but echoes from the past. Children laughing on Earth, old prayers, first kisses. The moment humanity discovered fire. And the moment it built bombs. It was everything. It was humanity. Raw, wild, uncontrolled. And beautiful. Zira stood in front of the Varn High Council. She wasn't afraid. You erased our past, she said, but it lived on in us, in blood. In dreams, the head Varn snarled. We saved the galaxy from your chaos. Zira stepped closer. No, she said. You feared we'd heal. The chamber exploded in light outside the ship. Elias's vessel approached the ancient gate, the one Zira unlocked days ago, but this time, it glowed with full power. The orb sensed with the gate. It needed two things, a memory and a human heart. Zira's voice echoed through the gate. Not a transmission, but a thought. Are you there? Elias closed his eyes. I'm here. The gate opened. Everything moved fast after that. The Varn fleet gathered to strike, but they were too late. From the center of the gate, a pulse of white light shot out in all directions. It wasn't a weapon. It was a signal. Every hidden archive across the galaxy lit up. Old AI woke from sleep. Forgotten satellites turned back on. Buried machines remembered their names. And with them came stories, billions of them. The Varn Empire didn't collapse in fire. It collapsed in truth. Zira was found hours later, floating in an escape pod. Alive. But changed. Elias opened the hatch. She smiled. I thought you'd forget me. He helped her up. Impossible. Weeks passed. The war ended without another shot, because when people know the full story, they stop believing lies. Zira sat on a small green hill on a free planet, holding a new pendant in her hand. Inside it, the original orb, now dim and silent. Elias sat beside her. Do you think it's over? She asked. No, he said. Truth is never over. But at least, she whispered, we gave them the last gift. What was that? Elias asked. She looked at him, a memory worth keeping.